As humans, it is so normal to feel jealous. In fact, it is completely in our biological nature. So that's why when you're comparing yourself to somebody, sometimes you don't even actively know that it's happening. That's because we are all social creatures, and our brains are actively collecting information to show us where we stand. When you see somebody with a life you wish you had that girl's friends, you wish you had that girl's waist, you wish you had that girl's effortless six-figure career. The feelings of envy can range from this innocent wanting, so I want what you have. But it can also be pretty dark, where you're actually wishing for someone's downfall. I remember when I felt so envious and so deep in my comparison era, I would think very dark thoughts like, because your relationship is falling apart, it doesn't make me feel so behind in my love life. Or if your business went bankrupt, then I wouldn't feel so bad that I haven't started my business yet. I am not proud of this, but I've felt it. And that is exactly what comparison does to people. And maybe if you're still here watching this video, you've probably felt it too. Hi, my name is Jasmine, and on this channel, we talk all about becoming the woman of your dreams and building a life that you absolutely love. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my exact framework on how I've completely eliminated feeling envious and jealous and comparison towards other people. Once you implement this framework that I'm about to share with you, you will notice that your life will change. People will start listening to you more attentively when you speak. Women you used to compare yourself to will begin to respect you as a peer. Men, coworkers, strangers, they'll start treating you like someone who matters. This video is organized into 2 different parts. Part 1 of the video talks about 3 sneaky ways where comparison is eating at your confidence. And part 2 of the video is where we completely flip the script. I'm going to be showing you how to rewire and see yourself in a completely different way and to use envy to become the woman of your dreams. As always, I've included chapters for this video so you can skip around. You can also find the timestamps in the description below. And if you're somebody who's ready to do the real work, I'm not just talking about watching these videos, but actually transforming. I provide in-depth journaling worksheets for every single one of my videos. In these worksheets, I provide introspective journaling prompts as well as practical exercises to help you start removing your limiting beliefs and just start building out an action plan so you can start living out as your highest self today. The link to access these worksheets are down in the description below. Now let's dive into the 3 types of comparison that are ruining your attraction. The very first type is inferiority complex. So inferiority complex is this internalized unworthiness. Now, where exactly does the inferiority complex come from? We were not born with this idea that life is a hierarchy until we collect evidence of people trying to determine our worth based on what they think we are worth. How we collect information on where we stand in this hierarchical frame is, for example, in high school, there was this guy in my grade who would rank girls, all the girls in my grade, based on how attractive they were. So obviously, if you were number 1, you were, in his eyes, the most attractive. But if you were last, in his eyes, you were the ugliest. And as a teenage girl, when you look at a list like that, you obviously feel either very boastful, like very prideful of where you stand if you're in the top half of that list, versus if you were standing at kind of the bottom of that list. And as a teenage girl, it was really hard for me to differentiate what is true and what isn't. Like, are you really going to let a 13-year-old boy determine how beautiful you are? But in this case, it happens a lot. And what about the public school ranking system? If you performed especially well, if you were really good at math and science, and you were essentially really good at excelling in the school system, then by being ranked first, you obviously get praised. But if you were ranked at the bottom and that was public information, like everyone in the school knows where you're ranked, you're gonna feel really bad about yourself. Another thing is getting dumped for someone else. And as we grow up through our childhood years, through our teen years, and through our adult years, we're constantly collecting evidence on where we stand. And through this evidence, we start developing this lie that there are people that are more valuable than others, just because some nobody said so. So the more times we hear it, the more times we get bullied, shunned for it, we automatically place ourselves in a respective level. So if someone in our eyes is prettier than us, then we will feel that they're above us. Or if someone is more successful than you and you're raised in a family where success is really important, then you will feel that they're above you. When someone is richer than you, then you feel that they're above you. But notice that all of these standards were built by other people that have lived before you, and they're not necessarily true standards of your worth. So you'll say, she's better than me, I'll never be able to have that. Or she's a 10, I'm a 6, I'll never be able to date guys like that. While a hierarchical system did exist 1,000 years ago, it no longer applies now. Instead, it's all an illusion and it's not real. But yet, it still feels like a game that we're all obligated to play. That's how luxury brands convince you to spend thousands and thousands of dollars buying bags and shoes, clothes that you don't need and can't even afford, only to trade it for status. But deep down, these products really give us the feeling of confidence, and that's essentially all we want to feel. We want to feel good about ourselves. Because the truth is, beyond the $1 million home, beyond the products, beyond the bags, we are all unique in our own way, and we all have divinely assigned God-given gifts to share and bring to the world. But the more you feed into this hierarchical system that doesn't even exist, the more you become a prisoner of your level. The more you will stay stuck in your life. You'll stay stuck in your income goals, and you'll also find it really hard to upgrade your circle because you constantly feel inferior to those above you. You feel like you need to impress them. You feel like you need to be someone else in order to belong in those spaces. So when you look down on people, even very unconsciously, you become more vulnerable to attack from the people above you. So answer this honestly. Do you instantly place people above you when you walk into a room? Do you feel triggered by certain people because they represent something you've denied yourself? Do you feel superior to others just to balance how small you feel around someone else? In order to remove inferiority complex is to completely remove the hierarchical structure altogether in your brain. You are not less than anybody, and there's no one greater than you. We are all equal human beings living this human experience on Earth. We are all mortal, like we're all gonna die one day. So stop assuming that people are better than you just because they have something that you don't. We all have beautiful aspects of ourselves that make us beautiful and unique. The second type is giving someone excessive importance. Importance is distorted energy and over-attachment towards something. When you put excessive importance on somebody, you are essentially inflating their value and you're automatically putting them on a pedestal. You are essentially making them bigger, more significant than they really are. The way we give excessive importance comes down to what we value and what we think is important. For example, if you were bullied your whole life for looking a certain way, then you would adopt this belief that being hot is everything. And when you see someone that is more attractive than you automatically put them on a pedestal. If your parents valued money a lot and being rich because you guys lived a life of poverty, then what would happen is you would believe that making 6 figures is everything. So when you see someone who has already made 6 figures, you automatically put them on a pedestal. You automatically give them excessive importance that they're different than you. But let's talk about what happens in the universe when you give something excess potential or excess importance. It's kind of like stretching a rubber band. The more excess potential or the more that you stretch this rubber band, the more it's going to snap back and hit you in the face. The universe is always trying to achieve equilibrium. So the more that you pull this rubber band, the more excess potential, excess importance you give to something else, the more it will snap back on you. And this often creates the exact opposite of what you wanted. So let me bring some examples on what I mean. The more desperately you try to be liked, the more people seem to overlook you. The more you obsess about your appearance, the more flawed you feel. And energetically, when you give something or someone excessive importance, when you treat them like a celebrity, they will always treat you like a fan. It's that when you give something excessive importance, when you automatically put them on a pedestal, you immediately belittle yourself. You automatically put yourself in a very disproportionate playing field. You will come from a place of need. This needy energy energy from lack, that person can do something for you. And when people sense that energy, when you're being in a place of lack, when you're taking something and wanting validation from them, wanting something from them, they can feel that energy and it repels the opportunity for true connection. So how do you start diminishing your importance so you can start actually manifesting and getting the things that you want? It is all about neutralizing the pressure. You need to see that everyone and everything, we are all made of energy. We are all made of the same thing. And the fact is, when you give someone that exaggerated meaning, that excessive potential from the get-go, you automatically create this power dynamic where they have power over you. But it's not true. We're all the same. The very third type is envy. Envy is misdirected pain and unintegrated desire. A lot of the times when we see someone that we're envious of, we automatically think they're the problem. They don't deserve it. They can't have that. And we put the blame on them. The ego will try to make you feel better about where you are in life, and your ego will try to convince you that they're just lucky, or they just have rich parents, or they probably cheated or did something unethical. Your ego will find any reason to justify why they don't deserve it. But the real reason why you feel jealous is because there's this internalized belief that you can't have that because you are not enough. And that is completely false. If there is someone on the planet who has that thing, then it's not unrealistic, it's not unattainable, and in fact, it makes it more possible. That someone has carved out a path to get there, so it means that it must be possible for you. But envy is all a mirror. It shows you the exact places where you haven't been granting yourself permission to go for, want, and have. The difference between you and that 18-year-old girl who just bought her New York City penthouse apartment isn't the fact that she's better or that she's luckier. It is because she has less internalized blocks around a New York City apartment. They have more clarity around what it is that they want, and they have less internalized resistance. And even if they're not fully perfect, even if they're not fully healed, they still open their doors and allow themselves to receive what it is that they want. And here you are withholding all the beautiful things that you want in life just because you don't feel perfect enough. The truth is, we will always be a work in progress. In life, we will always be evolving and changing and growing. But how much is this work in progress status delaying you from the life that you truly want for yourself? At what point will you finally give yourself full permission to receive what it is that you want? The next time you compare yourself to somebody, be very consciously aware of what beliefs come through. So if the belief in your head is they scammed people or they just married a rich husband, every time those thoughts come up, and they can be very unconscious, good-hearted women still think these thoughts. Don't be ashamed that you have these thoughts. Sometimes it's really important to just focus on being conscious about what it is that's going through your head. You are not a bad person for feeling this way. So use this opportunity to just take a step back and go like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Stop right there. Because I am in charge of my own reality, and I'm not going to use these excuses as a way to justify how stuck I feel. The more that you use those excuses to justify where you are right now, you will never be able to leave your situation. While it does protect the ego, it actually robs you of your agency and your power to move forward in your life. Now let's go even a layer deeper with jealousy. And I'm talking about the core, the root cause of why jealousy comes through. It is this inherent belief that there is not enough to go around. This is the voice of scarcity. So if she has it, it means that I'll never be able to have it. Or if someone is succeeding, then I'll be left behind. This is a very destructive belief system based on separation, competition, this not enoughness, that every win that someone else experiences is a loss for you. And when you adopt this mentality that there isn't enough, we start to believe that even beauty, money, success, love are all limited resources that we need to fight for. But look at how many stars there are in the sky, or how many trees there are on this planet. And it's that even if we spent our entire life counting these stars, we would never be able to finish. Life is so abundant and everything that you want is available to you now. Your desires in your heart were not placed by the universe to tease you, but you are meant to have those things. But the process, the growth of becoming that version of you who has that very thing, that is what the universe wants. The universe wants you to evolve. So how you can heal envy is to reframe envy as something that can be studied as a scientist. Underneath the envy is something that you've wanted for a long time, but haven't given yourself permission to do so. So learn how to decode that message without getting your emotions involved. Envy can really be healthy and it can be a really good thing if we use this as data. Not to judge others or ourselves, but using it to uncover a deeper level of healing. Now let's dive into the second part of the video where we're going to be talking about the 3 different tips that you can use to become the woman of your dreams, to become the woman that people actually admire and want to spend time around. But not only that, but becoming an energetic vibration to attract everything that you want to bring about in your life. The very first thing is to run positive slides about yourself. There will always be someone who is, in your eyes, prettier than you, smarter than you, funnier than you, more successful than you, richer than you, just overall, in your eyes, better than you. The key word, I've probably repeated it enough, is in your eyes. So how can you fully step into a room and not feel intimidated or threatened by another person? Write a list of 5 things that you love about yourself. And I would only start with 5. And what it is you want to do with that list is you want to start enhancing this list. How can you start enhancing your strengths? How can you start enhancing the things that you love most about yourself? So this could be the way that you look. This could be your mindset. This could be your hobbies. This could be your skills. This could be your aura. Whatever it is that you love about yourself, start amplifying and allowing that part of you to shine. Becoming the best version of yourself has nothing to do with becoming the most perfect version. Or it's not about fixing all the small weaknesses that you keep counting, but it's about enhancing what is already amazing within you. We all have strengths and weaknesses. Even the people that you put on a pedestal as someone that you think are greater than you, they also have flaws too. But the difference between you and them is that they stand firmly in their power. They stand firmly in what they can offer to the world. They understand and enhance their strengths more than they focus on their weaknesses. This is a very important self-love practice that can completely amplify your confidence over time. The moment you wake up, look at that list of 5 things that you love about yourself and start feeling immense gratitude for it. And over time, as you continually grow and develop, love and enhance these parts of you, something incredible will shift. When you walk into these rooms where you would normally feel intimidated, you will no longer feel that way. When you see someone that's prettier than you, smarter than you no longer see them as a threat, but instead you start seeing them as an expander. You see them and you recognize that there's something that you can learn from them. As well as you see her as an equal. You see her as someone who has gifts, and you see yourself as someone who has gifts. And by simply learning how to enhance what it is that you have to offer to the world, you become more secure about yourself. And you no longer discount yourself as someone that is lesser than or more inferior, but you see her and you see everybody around you as equal. The second tip is to shift your energy from getting to giving. To become the woman that is highly admired is to become someone with the mindset of abundance. Again, like we talked about, jealousy comes from this deep-rooted fear of scarcity and lack. And when we feel at lack, we don't have anything to give. The more intense these feelings are, the more you will emit this desperate and needy energy. It's this feeling of wanting something from someone else. So in high school, if you were the smart kid, then everybody probably came to you for homework answers. That's the feeling. It's that you feel that people are trying to take something from you. But instead of math homework answers, it's validation, attention, approval. So the most powerful way to shift from somebody who is always envious of others to becoming the woman of your dreams and being someone that is always admired is to shift from the mindset of getting to giving. When you let go of the urge of getting something and instead you focus solely on what you can give to people, that energy is so much more radiant and magnetic. You give what you wish you could receive, and you do so openly without expecting anything in return. That is the exact frequency you want to be at because it's coming from a place of a love and abundance. If you've always wanted to belong, give that sense of belonging to someone else. If you've always wanted to be admired, give that admiration to someone else and give them a genuine compliment. And if you are in a moment of comparison, whether you're scrolling on Instagram or in the moment you feel intimidated by somebody, start refocusing that energy and start asking, what can I give in this moment? When you answer this question from a place of love instead of belittling yourself or people pleasing, the energy and the dynamic completely shifts. And nothing is more powerful than someone who is secure in who they are. And they don't focus on what they can get from others, but they focus on what they can give. The very last tip is to unconditionally accept yourself so other people can unconditionally love you too. One of the most overlooked ways to remove envy and jealousy is simply to love and accept all parts of you. Not just selective parts that you think are great, but even the ugly parts too. To love and accept you fully as who you are. This is called reclaiming your lawful privilege to be yourself. Everyone is born with a unique frequency, unique soul, unique gifts. But when you compare yourself to others, you rob yourself of that divine frequency that was given to you by the universe, and instead you leak that energy out. So when you abandon yourself to become a version of somebody else, you create this very draining feedback loop that you're never enough. This means trying to fix yourself, trying to upgrade, trying to edit yourself. All of these are ways in which you block the very desire that you want. It sends a signal to the universe that you don't believe you're good enough yet, so you don't deserve the very thing that you want. When you stop trying to be someone else and instead you see yourself as worthy and enough just as you are, you will find that the universe loves this energy. It feels pure, it feels innocent, it feels true to you. And that is actually the path of least resistance to the very desires that you want, to the manifestations that you want. And to feel envious towards somebody else is essentially communicating to the universe that you're not enough yet. The more secure and accepting of who you are, the world will constantly reflect that back to you and give you more evidence that you are secure, that you are enough. And if you don't believe me, look at all the leaders in the world that have the most followers. They are not trying to be someone else because people can read through that. But instead, they are so loyal to their own values. They are so true to themselves and what they stand for that they don't care what people have to say. They don't care about what people think of them, but instead, they walk true to their own path. Start letting go of the need to prove your worth because you don't need to. It's actually not necessary, and in fact, it actually blocks you further from your desires and further from your truth. Self-acceptance is not vanity. You're not putting people above you or below you, but self-acceptance is all about ending the war, the conflict between yourself. Just remember that someone wants you exactly as you are now, but the world can't reflect that until you do. Now we've reached the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. The one thing that I would love to know, and if you could pop it down in the comments below, is what is one thing that you love about yourself that you want to start enhancing? And if you are serious about transforming and shifting your life, applying everything that I've taught in this video, download my free worksheets in the description below. And if you are currently on the journey of becoming the woman of your dreams and building a life that you absolutely love, consider subscribing to the channel because I make a lot of content about becoming a high-value woman. I talk about relationships, money, love, literally everything. And if you're ready to go a step further into your glow up season, I highly recommend checking out my next video, how to become 10 times hotter simply by studying yourself. Becoming the hottest version of you has nothing to do with copying someone else's template. But in fact, it's about the art of studying yourself, being your own self-researcher. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you next week. Bye!